Hello friends, myself Pankaj Lade. I welcome you all to this final session of understanding the engineering admission process. Now in the previous videos we have already understood what is engineering, what are the different disciplines that are available in engineering. We have also seen what is the actual admission process, isn't it? And now you have secured a seat in engineering. The next question that arises is what I am going to face there, isn't it? When I go to my college, what things I am going to encounter. So this video is all about understanding what you are going to see in your first year engineering. Now students, understand this, that engineering is a semester based pattern. That means every single year you have to appear for 2 semesters. For instance, when you go to first year, then you'll have semester 1 and semester 2. Similarly, when you go to second year, it will be semester 3 and 4. Similarly, when you go to third year, it is semester 5 and semester 6. And when you go to the final year, it will be semester 7 and 8. So every year you have to clear all your semesters and then you can keep on going to the next year. Now our focus is entirely going to be on first year engineering. So what you will be finding in the first year engineering, what subjects are going to be there, when will be the exams going to happen, what is the paper pattern, and every single thing I'm going to discuss in this particular video. So keep watching till the end and I will guarantee again that most of your questions will get answered. Now, as I said, that first year engineering is semester based. You will have SEM 1 and SEM 2. So, in semester 1, what subjects you are going to encounter? Now, understand this, that your college is going to start in the month of August. Mostly, it will always start in the month of August. And your first exam, that means the very first engineering exam of your life, is going to happen in the month of December. That means you will have roughly 4 to 5 months of preparation. So if you start counting from the month of August, you are going to the college, so it's month of August, September, October, November and December. Now your exam is going to happen in the month of December. Usually it starts around the first week of December, from the 1st of December to the 5th of December, most of the times. That means you have only 4 months in your hands to understand what the subjects are. You have to prepare for them and then you have to appear for the exam. So you need to be ready beforehand, isn't it? So these 4 months you just have to utilize how to prepare for the exams. You cannot keep on running here and there to understand what is engineering, what subjects are there and other things. So I'm going to explain you all subjects and other things. Get ready with all these things, have this information, so when you go to the college you are already prepared for what's going to come next. So students, in semester 1 there are in all 5 subjects that you have to attend for, you have to prepare for. The first subject is obviously engineering mathematics. The first subject is engineering mathematics 1, we call it. Now, this is the most challenging subject of engineering. Now, remember this, as you have taken engineering, that means you will have to learn mathematics for entirely half period of your engineering life. That means if you are doing engineering for 4 years, that means you will be learning mathematics for the first 2 years. SEM 1, SEM 2, SEM 3, SEM 4. All the 4 semesters is going to have this subject. Mathematics is definitely going to be there. So it becomes very important that you are very good with your mathematics. You do your 11th and 12th maths very well, because that is going to form a solid rocks, isn't it, which on which you can stand on and then project yourself up. So remember to prepare your 11th and 12th standard mathematics well, so that you don't face difficulties in learning engineering mathematics. What these subjects are, means what topics you are going to get, what the subject contains, you will find it in some of my other videos where I'm going to discuss, where I discuss all these things in detail. So now when I talk about engineering mathematics 1, what this subject is, remember that when you are going to appear for the exam, there are two different types of exams that you will need to be appearing for. The first one is called as end semester exam. The first one is called as the end semester exam. It is for 80 marks. The end semester exam is for 80 marks. Right now I am talking about mathematics only. Whatever subjects are there further, we will be looking at those subjects a little later. The first subject, mathematics, there is two types of exams. One is end semester exam for 80 marks. The other exam, it is called as internal assessment test. Internal assessment test. It is called as IIT, or some people also call it as periodic tests, or they also call it as unit test, and so on. Different colleges have their different names, but in general it is called as an internal assessment test. Here usually two exams are taken. These exams happen in the college itself. Means if you start in the month of August, let us say, then in the month of September there will be the first exam, the first internal assessment test. It will be for 20 marks. So it becomes total 100 marks, isn't it? So 20 marks for the internal assessment test. There will be one test in the month of September. The next test usually comes in the month of November, which is the term end. We call it as the term end. So another exam for 20 marks in the month of November. This is going to happen somewhere in September or October. Okay, so what you have to do here, when 25% of your portion gets over, 25 to 30% of your portion gets over, the first internal assessment test happens. The second internal assessment test happens in the month of November, which is called as a term end. That means your semester 1 college is going to end. Exams will happen in the month of December. So the second unit test or the second periodic test or the second IIT happens in the month of November. In both the papers, on an average, as I said, on an average, so average of both the papers should be minimum 8 marks. Average of both the papers should be minimum 8 marks. So for instance, if you score 10 marks here and 6 marks here, that means the average becomes 8 marks. So average has to be 8 marks. So 8 marks is your passing in the internal assessment test. You have to pass the end semester exam and the IITs separately. Remember this, the total passing marks, the subject is for 100 marks, the total passing marks is 40 marks. So this 40 marks, how you have to score? So you have to score 32 marks in your end semester exam, 32 marks in the end semester exam, and 8 marks in your IITs. So some colleges take 2 IITs, some colleges might take 3 IITs. So usually they take 2 IITs. So therefore it is very important that you score your 32 marks in your end semester exams and 8 marks in your IIT. So both the exams need to be passed separately. Remember this, you cannot score 40 here and 0 here. That is not allowed. It is allowed only in one condition, when you score 80% of the marks here. 80% of marks in your end semester exam, that means around 64 marks. If you score 64 marks and you have a strong valid reason, some genuine reason not to appear for the IITs, remember, you cannot simply go and get 64 marks here and do not give these exams. That is not going to happen. You have to give a very good solid reason why you are not able to attend the IITs. Only then, if you score 64 marks here, then the IITs will be ignored. Otherwise, you have to pass both the exams separately, and this is going to be the rule for other subjects as well. There are total 5 subjects you want to learn in first semester. Total 5 subjects. The first one is mathematics. So here, whatever structure you are observing, the exact same structure will be for other subjects also. Obviously, the marks at some subjects is slightly lower. So that was engineering mathematics 1. Then you have end semester exams, you have internal assessment test, the 80 marks test and the 20 marks test. You have to score 32 marks here. Here you have to score minimum 8 marks average, isn't it? Now, that was all about the very first subject. The next subject that you will be facing is Engineering Physics 1 engineering physics 1 and engineering chemistry 1. So now you can understand why engineering admissions are based on your PCM group, because when you go to engineering, again you have to learn physics, chemistry and maths. Now here physics and chemistry are mostly they are theory based. That means if you are appearing for say 100 marks, then usually around 70 to 75 marks theory will be asked. Lot of theory is involved in these two subjects, lot of theory is involved, and remaining 30 to 25 marks you will be having numerical. So the weightage of numericals is not that great as compared to the theory part. So mostly theoretical topics are present in physics and chemistry. For instance, in chemistry there is one very big chapter called as water. Now most of the paper is completely occupied by the questions coming from this one chapter, water. Obviously there are some other topics also, but mostly you will find that the questions that are asked in the paper for these two subjects is theoretical. So you have to what you can say, have very good notes along with you. So that's physics 1 and chemistry 1. Now for these two subjects, see what happens. These two subjects are asked for 75 marks. The end semester exam, or you can say the total weightage, is 75 marks for both the subjects. So there will be a physics paper of 75 marks and there will be a chemistry paper of again 75 marks. Again there will be bifurcation into two different tests. One will be your end semester exam. One is your end semester exam. This will happen for 60 marks. 60 marks, and obviously there will be the IITs, two number of them, two tests. Again it will be for 15 marks. Getting, so that becomes 75 marks. So 60 marks and 15 marks. Now when you are attempting a paper of 80 marks, then the time allotted is 3 hours. Your exam is going to be conducted for 3 hours. For this 20 marks, the exam conducted is for a period of 1 hour. Okay, so when you come to your physics and chemistry papers, you are going to attempt only 60 marks. So this time, the time allotted here for 60 marks, it is 2 hours. And by default, the IITs, even though it is for 15 marks, still you will be provided 1 hour to write your exams. So whatever things are already taken in the college, only on that particular topics the IITs will happen, but the entire syllabus will be contained in your end semester exam. So you have to prepare your entire syllabus for the end semester exam. So for physics and chemistry, 60 marks each, the end semester exams, you have to attempt the paper for 2 hours, and then the IITs will happen for 15 marks. Now how many marks you want to score here? Try and understand this. So in your end semester exam of 60 marks, here you will need at least 24 marks to score your, clear your paper. You have to score at least 24 marks in your end semester exam, and over here out of the 15 marks you need to score a minimum of 6 marks average. Getting or not? So that becomes total of 30 marks. So here 24 marks and here 6 marks you want to score if your paper is for 75 marks. So the total marks that you want to score out of 75 is 30 marks. Isn't it? So these are the first 3 subjects that you will be finding in your engineering life. So that's physics, chemistry and maths. Maths more weightage, it is for 80 marks. Now the next 2 subjects, which are the most important subjects. Now see, these are all technical subjects. Try and understand, when you talk about mathematics, you have to keep on solving the questions, you have to do lot of practice. When you come to physics and chemistry, you have to keep on reading, you have to prepare notes. Notes preparation is very important. There are so many questions that can appear from this physics and chemistry. So believe me, if you have your own notes written in your own handwriting, that becomes very important. The subject becomes very easy to understand later. So make sure for these 2 subjects, physics and chemistry, you prepare very good notes, get a very good textbook. I will be definitely telling you with what kind of books you will need to buy for all these subjects, don't worry. But then, even though when you have the notes, you should be having even though you have the textbook, I said, you should be having good notes along with you, getting or not. So buying a textbook is not enough, getting the notes out of the textbook, that becomes very important. So these are the first three subjects. The next two subjects, as I said, the most important ones are engineering mechanics. The first one is engineering mechanics, and the next one is basic electricals and electronics engineering. So sometimes people call it as BEEE, or some people even call it as BEE. So basic electricals and electronics engineering and engineering mechanics. Now these two subjects are completely numerical based. Now you can understand mathematics, obviously there will be some questions that will be asked that you have to solve, isn't it? No theory will be asked here. We cannot ask any kind of theory in mathematics, and even though there are some theorems involved, some corollaries involved, some rules involved in mathematics, you do not have to prove them. This is applied mathematics. You have to just know the concept and you have to apply it in solving the questions. So here no theory is going to ask. Physics and chemistry, lot of theory, very less numericals. But when you come to these two subjects, mechanics and basic electricals and electronics, believe me, maximum numericals will be asked. No theory comes here. Very less amount of theory will come here. For instance, I'll tell you, these two subjects are again going to come for 80 marks. Both the subjects are for 80 marks. Your mechanics as well as BEE. They are both going to come for 80 marks. So again the bifurcation is the same way. The weightage is 100 marks in all, 80 marks for the end semester exam and 20 marks for the internal assessment test. So the exam, the written exams, the final exams are for 80 marks. Again you have to score your 32 marks from here. But this 80 marks question paper will mainly contain only numericals. There are question papers where no theory was asked. Did you understand what I said? No theory was asked in the entire paper. Only and only numericals were asked. So this subject becomes the most feared subject of first year engineering. If you ask to any of your previous colleagues, means those who are seniors to you, they will tell you that the most challenging subject is mechanics, then comes maths, then comes BEE, and then physics and chemistry. But believe me people, if you study well, if you have your resources very strong, then you can definitely clear any of the papers from here. So make sure that you have very good resources to prepare these subjects. For that, what you can do is you can keep on following my YouTube channel Pankaj Lade. I have put up lot of videos on many of the concepts from here. So let's move ahead. As I said, mechanics is going to come for 80 marks. Maximum you will find numericals. So maximum numericals are going to come here. Very less theory. And as I said, there are a lot of challenging topics in this subject. For instance, you must have learned projectile motion in your 11th and 12th standard, isn't it? Rectilinear motion, gravitational motion. So all these things are going to be appearing in engineering mechanics. I have a separate video just to make you understand what the subject is, what topics are included in the subject, what is the question paper pattern, and so on. It is for maths, it is for mechanics, because these are my strong subjects. I usually teach these subjects, maths and mechanics, at various places. So I have prepared separate videos just to understand what topics are there in maths, what topics are there in mechanics. So accordingly you can search for physics, chemistry and BEE also. So now students, when I come to this mechanics subject, as I said, again you should have a very good resource along with you. Buy good books, try to find out some notes. You will be getting notes if you want on my website. You can go there and you can check for the notes. Now, all the links will be provided into the description box. Do not worry at all. Every link that is required to understand this entire semester 1 will be provided into the description box. And if you have any questions regarding this, any sort of question, feel free to put your chat in the comment box. You can ask your questions in the comment box and I will make every effort to reply to it. Now, moving ahead, so mechanics and BEE both for 80 marks, both of them are what you can say entirely numerical based, so you have to keep on solving just like mathematics. Now, the books you can that you can refer for all these subjects is the very first subject, or I'll start from the last subject. For BEE, there are usually two books which are referred by students. One is B.R. Patil. It is a very good book for understanding the concepts, and the other one is by Professor Ravish Singh. It is a good book to understand numericals. You can buy these two books for theory and questions. So if you want to understand the theory, B.R. Patil is a very good book. Many of my students have recommended this book just to understand the concept and to solve many questions, to practice many questions. You can buy Professor Ravi Singh for numerical. So these are the two books that you can refer for BEE. But believe me, a very good source will be your mentor. That means you have to find someone who will teach this subject to you, and they will definitely provide you with the notes and the question papers. Now, question papers for all subject question papers are the best source of preparation. You can find all these question papers on my website for first year, right from 2007 up to 2020. Now this year no exams have happened, but then you can find the previous year question papers on my website. Go and check the website. You will get many of the things from here. So as I said, you can buy B.R. Patil and Ravi Singh, or best one is to have a good mentor from whom you can learn the things very properly, so that they will teach you about the subject, about the concepts, and they will also tell you what things are involved over here. Now, for mechanics, there are many books available. Many books are available. The very first book that usually students refer is by Professor N.H. Dubey. This is a very good book. Maximum of the students are referring this book by Professor N.H. Dubey. Then the second book that you can buy is from Professor M.D. Dayal. From Professor M.D. Dayal. Then there is another book by Professor Sanju Unadkat. This is the third book that you can refer. So for mechanics, there is a what you can say vast amount of topics available. There are many books available. Another one you can go for is a foreign author, Beer and Johnson, slightly difficult book. But if you buy this one book, that would be more than enough. And as I said, question papers, that is the most important source of your practice. Question papers. So any of the book you can refer from here. The most prominent one is obviously N.H. Dubey. Many of the students are using it. Or else you can have something called as a 70+ edition. These books are written by me. These books contain maximum of the questions from the university papers. That means what I have done is I have taken all the question papers and I have segregated all the questions topic wise, and then I have solved the questions from 2007 to 2020. So you can buy this book 70+ also. Now coming to the next subjects, physics and chemistry. Over here many books are available. I will strongly recommend you to buy those books which are referred by your college professors, because most of the times your assignments and the other things will be checked by your college professors, and they will be expecting that you write the answers which will satisfy them, and that can happen only when you buy the books which are recommended by the colleges. So here, books recommended by your college. So when it comes to physics and chemistry, it is more important that you buy books recommended by the college. And as I said again, get your own notes. There are some topics which are given very properly in one of the book and the other topic in some other book. So it becomes very important to collect the information of the two books together. So that is the reason I am asking you to get your notes, own notes, write handwritten notes for physics and chemistry. Very important, students. Take it from my own experience. Now, when you come to mathematics, there is only one book which is most popular in engineering students, and it is by Professor G.V. Kumbhojkar. So he has done an extensive research on mathematics, and all the question papers of first sem, second sem, third, fourth are usually asked from his book. But as I said, the books are quite bulky, isn't it? So it's a very big book, very thick book. So what you can do is, again, as I said, you can go for this one book which is written by me, and it contains all university questions. So it is called 70 plus, isn't it? If you want this book, you can definitely text me. You can click on the links which are provided into the description box, and you can have this book. So this book contains maximum of question papers solved, all questions segregated. So you can buy this book also, and as I said, you can buy G.V. Kumbhojkar also. So this is what you can have in semester 1. So students, as soon as you go to the college, when you go to the college, the very first thing that you are going to encounter is your semester 1. So you need to be preparing for your semester 1 exams right from the very first day. That is very important. You have to start your journey right from the very first day itself. It becomes so important to have the first hand knowledge then. So that is why this video has been made. Now, when you go to your colleges, what is going to happen is you will be needing to write journals, assignments. Now there is something called as term work into all these subjects. Now remember, you will have term work for all the subjects. A 25 marks term work is there for all of the subjects. 25 mark term work means, for instance, when you go to mathematics, you will have to write tutorials for every single topic. It means you will be going, it is like performing a practical. You will be going batch wise. Your professor will be giving you some examples, some questions to solve. You have to solve them in the tutorials itself, get it checked, get it submitted, and then you have to make a file of all the topics, isn't it? That is called as a term work. And what happens is, at the end of the semester, you have to submit this file to your respective professor. It is called as submissions. It will happen in the month of November. So first thing, the first subject, mathematics, will have something called as tutorials. Other subjects do not have tutorials. Physics, chemistry, mechanics and BEE, they have practicals. You have practicals for these 4 subjects. Now again, practicals means you have to start writing the journals, as well as you will have to write assignments. So assignments is there in all the subjects. Term work is a combination of the tutorials, practicals and the assignments. There will be 4 to 5 assignments which will be given for every subject. So when you go to your college, it is going to be very important that you have to always stay up on your toes. That is the reason I have told you to take admission to a college which is very near to your house, so that what happens is that traveling time will be saved, and that time can be utilized to complete your assignments, write your journals and prepare for the IITs, and lot of stuff is there. So students, term work, journal writing, tutorials and assignments. So as I said, for physics, chemistry, mechanics and BEE, you will have to go and perform some experiments. Now there is no test, no practical test for all these subjects. There is no practical exam. You just have to perform the practicals, write the assignments very properly, make a journal out of it, and then you have to submit it during your submissions, which will happen in the month of November. But there is going to be something called as a Viva. It is basically an oral exam. There will be a Viva for mechanics and basic electricals and electronics. So for mechanics and BEE, there is going to be something called as a oral exam, or we generally call it as a Viva, and that is going to be happening for 25 marks. So understand this. For maths, total 100 marks, 80 marks end semester exam, 20 marks IIT, 25 marks is for your journals. That means your tutorials and the assignments that you'll be writing. So 100 plus 25. So total weightage has become 125 marks. So in all, there is 125 marks for mathematics. Getting or not? When you come to physics and chemistry, 75 marks written exams, in which 60 marks is the end semester exam and 15 marks is your IIT. Next one is again 25 marks for your term work. So in the term work, what will happen? In the term work, you have to submit the journal where you'll be performing some experiments. You'll be writing the experiments, completing the journal, and assignments will be there. Assignments is an integral part of engineering. There will be many assignments for every single subject that you will have to write and submit in the given time. So it becomes very important to keep on studying properly. So the total weightage for both the subjects is 100 marks, 100 marks. So 100 and 100, that becomes 200 marks here. When you come to mechanics and BEE, so 100 marks is for your written exams, 80 plus 20. So 100 marks for your written exams plus 25 marks for your term work. That means in your term work, you have to perform the experiments, complete the journals and write the assignments. Then another 25 marks is going to be for your Vivas. So these two subjects will be having something called as an oral exam, or we call it as a Viva, for additional 25 marks. So the two subjects becomes, it will go up to 150 marks. So that is what you will be having in your semester 1. It begins in the month of August, continues up to the month of November, mid-November usually, 15 to 20th November the college will end. You get a preparatory leave of 10-15 days, and then in the month of December your exam is going to start, which will be roughly around 20 to 25 days. You get good amount of time in the month of December also to prepare for your exam. So this is all overview of semester 1, and now we will be looking at semester 2. Now students, we have understood what semester 1 is. We have understood what kind of subjects are going to be there in the semester 1. We have also understood when the exam is going to happen, what you have to do for the exams, how you have to prepare, what books you have to refer. Now similarly, we will now discuss for semester 2 also, so that the entire discussion of first year gets over. Now in semester 2, as in semester 1, you had 5 subjects, but in semester 2 you will be having to appear for 6 subjects. Now what those 6 subjects are, what kind of books you have to refer for those subjects, I am going to discuss in too much detail. So just keep watching till the end of this video. Now in semester 2, see what happens. When you talk about semester 2, there are in all 6 subjects now. You will have to appear for 6 subjects. Now what's the very first subject that you should be looking at? So obviously we know that mathematics is going to be there. It is an integral part of engineering. So the first subject, as usual, is going to be your engineering mathematics. Engineering mathematics 2, isn't it? Engineering mathematics 2. Now again, it is going to be a subject for 100 marks. There will be 100 marks, the end semester exam, of which 80 marks is your written exam and 20 marks will be your internal assessment test. It is exactly same as in semester 1. In semester 1 we had engineering mathematics 1 where it was for 100 marks. Here also it will be for 100 marks, and then there will be a term work of 25 marks. So there will be term work of 25 marks. So this term work, what you have to do, again as I said, you will have to attend tutorials, isn't it? You have to attend tutorials where you will be solving some questions given by your respective teachers. So you have to completely solve them in the college itself, isn't it? And they will be also giving you some assignments based on the topics. Now what kind of topics will be there in engineering mathematics? You've watched my other videos related to particular subjects. It will be there on my YouTube channel. So for 25 marks term work is going to be there. Here you will be having to attend the tutorials, and then there will be assignments. So together you will have to make a journal out of it. The term work and the term work consists of tutorials and the assignment, so you will have to make journal out of it. So for 25 marks it is going to be there. So in all, again it becomes 125 marks for engineering mathematics 2. So again here, as I said, 80 marks if the end semester exam is going to happen, you will have to score 32 marks here, and for the 20 marks, the internal assessment test, you will have to score your 8 marks. So in all, again 40 marks are required for engineering maths, isn't it? Now the next subject, obviously we all know, it is going to be engineering physics. We have already discussed this, engineering physics 2 this time, and the third one is going to be engineering chemistry 2. Again both of these subjects are going to be there for 75 marks, isn't it? So 75 marks, and here also will be having the paper for 75 marks, of which 60 marks is going to be the end semester exam, and 15 marks is going to be there for the internal assessment test. So physics and chemistry, again very much similar to what you have seen in your semester 1. Now students, remember the books that again I am telling. So as I have told in semester 1, for maths you can refer the most respected book in Mumbai University, and it is G.V. Kumbhojkar. Or you can definitely go for my book also, which contains all exam questions solved from 2007 to 2020. So either of the books you can refer. You can go for G.V. Kumbhojkar if you want to get extensive knowledge, and if you want the solutions for all the university questions, all questions which have been asked in the past university papers, you can definitely refer my book also. It will be available online. So G.V. Kumbhojkar, or you can take my book, that is what is available for mathematics. And as I said in semester 1, that for physics and chemistry you refer those books which have been recommended by your college professors. Please refer only those books which have been referred by the college professors, college teachers. The reason for that is you have to write assignments. Again I am telling, you'll have to write assignments, you have to complete your journals, isn't it? So for that purpose, whatever book is suggested by the professor, that becomes the most recommended book. So make sure that you use those books only which have been recommended by your college teachers. So here physics and chemistry, very much similar to the semester 1 itself. 75 marks exam is going to happen. Then there will be a 25 marks term work, isn't it? No practical exams will be there for this particular subject. No practical exam is there. So you just have to perform experiments. Here you have to go and do tutorials. Here you have to go and do practicals. But there is no practical exam. Only practical performance is there. Getting or not? You have to just perform the practicals, make a good journal, and obviously there are going to be assignments also that you have to write, and together it will comprise your term work, and it will be for 25 marks. Now remember that when I am talking about this term work for 25 marks, it also includes your attendance, the marks for your attendance. So there are 5 marks which are awarded for attendance, and it has to be more than 70%. It's a rule otherwise you will not be eligible to attend the exam. So just keep in mind that you have to attend lectures throughout the semester, and the attendance has to be more than 70%. Now what happens is, if the attendance is more than 95%, then you get full 5 marks of the attendance and of the journal. Full 5 marks will be awarded, but as the attendance keeps on reducing, the weightage, the marks will also keep on reducing. So make sure that you always and always keep a very good attendance in your college. At the end of the day, you are nothing but what? You are simply gaining knowledge when you attend college. So make sure that you are definitely attending your colleges regularly. Now, after these two subjects, for chemistry, again, as I said, it is going to be exact same way. 75 marks for your end semester exam, of which 60 marks written exam is going to be there, 15 marks internal assessment test is going to be there, and 25 marks for practicals and assignments, the term work part, isn't it? So it is exactly same as physics. So again, as I said, the books that you will be referring will be those recommended by the college teachers. Now, some of my students are using Nirali Prakashan, so you can make use of that books also. Usually there are many books available, which of which some are very good. So some of my students are using Nirali Prakashan. You can go and check for Nirali Prakashan, or else, as I said, please refer books which have been recommended by the college teachers. That will benefit you. Now, coming back to the semester 2 subjects, after the first 3 subjects of physics, chemistry and maths, the next subject that you want to take care of is engineering drawing. Now this is a very important subject of semester 2. Like engineering mechanics, here engineering drawing is there. Now do not be in an impression that you have to draw some random diagrams. There will be questions on solids, lines, planes and so on. So again, here the general idea of the subject is nothing but you have to understand the general idea of this subject is to understand how the vision, how the projection of diagrams is going to be. When you take a solid, how it looks, isn't it? From the front, from the top, from the side, the left side, the right side. So these projections of a particular object has to be understood and has to be drawn on a drawing sheet or in a drawing book. So that is what this subject is about. Now this subject is going to be there only for 75 marks. Now it's not like engineering mechanics, it was for 100 marks. Here it is going to be only for 75 marks, but just wait for some time. This 75 marks, as I said, will be distributed into again 60 marks and 15 marks. So 60 marks, your end semester exam is going to happen. End semester exam is going to happen for 60 marks, and this 15 marks, obviously your internal assessment test is going to be there. So you will be wondering why this subject is so important. Students, even though the subject is asked only for 75 marks, that means 16 marks and 15 marks. Now the time allotted, if you recall, for these 60 marks paper, physics and chemistry, both of them are for 60 marks, isn't it? Both of them are for 60 marks, and the time allotted is going to be 2 hours. The time allotted for both the subjects to write your paper is 2 hours. Here it is going to be 3 hours. But even though engineering drawing is only for 60 marks, the time allotted to draw or to write this paper is 3 hours. So from there you can understand, even though the marks has reduced, the time has not reduced. And believe me, I have seen lot of students who are not able to complete their entire paper even after giving 3 hours. That is because of the lack of practice. Students do not do enough amount of practice of this subject. Just reading the question and looking at the diagram is not going to help you understand the subject. You have to physically draw it. I have students who have scored 60 on 60 in this particular subject. So you can understand that it is definitely possible to score 60 on 60 in engineering drawing. But most of the students are not able to complete the paper. The only reason for it is lack of practice, and I don't want it to happen with you. When you go to semester 2 and you get this subject, make sure that you put enough amount of time in practicing this subject. So that is why, even though it is for 75 marks still it becomes an important subject. But just wait now, the story is not yet over. Now again there will be term work for 25 marks, isn't it? There will be a term work of 25 marks. Now what this term work will contain? Obviously the term work contains again here tutorials. There is no practical that you have to perform. Yes, the practicals are there, but just wait for that. Now for the term work again they will be giving you assignments, there will be tutorials. You have to go to the college or to sit there for 2 to 3 hours, and you have to draw diagrams which are given by your college teacher. So that is what the term work is going to include, as well as there will be a practical on AutoCAD. There is a software, we all know AutoCAD, isn't it? On that software you have to draw those diagrams which you are making physically on a drawing sheet. Whatever diagrams you make on the drawing sheet has to be again made on the AutoCAD, on the software. So all this thing is for 25 marks. Now what happens here is, over here you don't have any kind of practical exams or vivas. There is no practical exam, there is no vivas. But when you come to engineering drawing, there is a 50 mark practical exam, students. 50 marks practical exam is going to be there, and this exam is based on AutoCAD. So there is going to be a practical exam for 50 marks, and you have to draw the entire diagram on AutoCAD. It is going to be for 50 marks. There will be 2 diagrams that you want to make over here. 2 diagrams. Now you might not know what the diagrams are there, but there usually one question is on something called as orthographic projection, and one question is on isometric projection. Students, watch my other videos where I discuss these subjects individually, what these subjects actually contain. So you can go and subscribe to my channel. It is Pankaj Lade. You can go there and you can subscribe and you can watch these videos for individual subjects. So for practical exam, as I said, for 50 marks you have to appear there, and there will be 2 questions that you want to appear for. There will be one question on orthographic projection and one question on isometric projection. So you have to be very good with your knowledge of computers, knowledge of this particular software also. So you keep on practicing these things. Now that was engineering drawing. The other important subject that you will be having here, the next important subject, is called computer programming. It is called computer programming. This is one more important subject that you will have to appear for, computer programming. Now here the subject is going to be for 100 marks. So obviously the 100 marks will get divided into 80 marks, the end semester exam, isn't it? And there will be another 20 marks for the internal assessment test, isn't it? So for 100 marks you have to appear for this subject, and then there will be 32 marks you want to score here, and obviously 8 marks in the internal assessment test. Now again there will be 25 marks of term work. There will be 25 marks term work. So what you have to do in this term work? Now all these subjects don't have practicals, but computer programming has practicals. You have to learn C programming and Java in this particular subject. So there is going to be a C programming and there is going to be Java into this particular subject, and you have to go and write programs and you have to execute them on a computer. So that means you will have to go and attend practicals over here. So practicals are there for computer programming, and there will be a 25 marks practical exam also. It is like practical exam plus Viva. They will give you some program to write and you have to execute it, and they will ask you some oral questions regarding that particular program or regarding the subject. So you will have to prepare for the practical exams also here. So in all it becomes a 150 mark subject, isn't it? So that's computer programming for you. And usually those students who have already studied computers in their 11th and 12th standard, they find it quite easy to tackle this subject. But again, this subject is technical. Having the previous knowledge does not guarantee that you will be very good with the subject. I have seen students who are not aware of anything of computers before, but they still score very very good marks in this particular subject because it is completely logical. You just have to know the logic behind a computer program. So do not take this subject lightly. It's a very important subject of first year. It is going to help you in your subsequent years. Now when you go, suppose you have taken some derived field, let's say electronics engineering or computer engineering or biomedical or electrical engineering. So over here in all these branches, you will need to know computer programming very thoroughly, because it's going to form a base for all the subjects that you are going to learn in your subsequent years, in the years that are going to come, the second year, the third year, and so on. So make sure that you learn your subject very thoroughly in semester 2 itself, in the first year itself. So that was all about computer programming. Now the most important subject of all, the sixth subject. Now students sometimes take this subject very casually. I have seen students taking this subject very casually, but remember this: a very good engineer is a very good communicator also. He can communicate, he can talk with people very effectively, isn't it? Very influentially. And for that, your communication skills has to be very good, very powerful. So that is the reason this one subject has been included in first year. It is called as communication skills. Now this might have different names in different colleges, but then in general it is called as communication skills. So here you will have to improve your skills of talking. So it is a subject where you have to keep on talking. Of course there is a paper that you will have to go and write also, but most of the time you will have to talk. So here the paper is again for 60 marks plus 15 marks, 60 marks end semester exam and 15 marks internal assessment test, and then as usual there is going to be a 25 marks term work, which will be including your presentations, your vivas. You will have to go and talk in front of the entire class on a particular subject. There will be group discussions and stuff like that, where you will have to communicate very thoroughly with the with your fellow mates. So make sure that you improve your skills of communicating, isn't it? So that is the reason this subject has been there in your first year. Now it is not going to be a very difficult subject. It's not English, remember that. This is not English. Do not confuse this subject with English language. It is only there for communication skills improvement, how good you can be to explain a particular thing. That is the reason this subject has been there. So students, as I said, this all things you have to know before you go to your college, isn't it? If you know these things prior to going to the college, it becomes very simple, very easy to start with the what you can say journey of your engineering, isn't it? So make sure that you do all the things very properly. Take knowledge of all these things. I forgot to tell you the books that you need to refer for doing drawing and computer program. Now the books that you should be referring for these two subjects is nothing but, for engineering drawing, as I said, for mechanics there was plenty of books available, but for drawing you can stick to one book, and that is given by Professor N.H. Dubey. Now this is a very good book. Almost every student refers this book only, N.H. Dubey. It's a very perfect book that you can be referring for this particular subject. Every single thing is given in too much detail, so you don't have to worry about. But as I said, you will need practice of this subject. You cannot just watch the diagram in the book and then interpret it. You have to physically draw it. Only then you will be good with this subject. So that's the book that you should be referring for engineering drawing. It is N.H. Dubey. Now for computer programming there are plenty of books available. There are many books available, but at the end of the day, as I said, if you have a very good mentor for these subjects, it becomes easy to understand. If someone holds your hand and shows you the path that you have to walk, it becomes quite easy, isn't it? So that is why I always recommend students to get a very good mentor for these subjects. There is computer programming, there is drawing, and then there is mathematics. So similarly, now as I said, the books that you should be referring over here for computer programming are nothing but, there are many books available. You can go for Bal Guru Swami. It's a good book, Bal Guru Swami, isn't it? So just stick to one book, that will be enough, more than enough. Or you can, there are some points given very good in one book, and there are some other points given in some other books. So you can do what? Again, notes preparation is a key over here. Whatever subject you are going to study, make sure that you make your notes, your own notes. That will give you a good confidence in that particular subject. So Bal Guru Swami is there. Then there is Kanetkar. You can go for Kanetkar. Let us see. And of course, if you have notes from your seniors, isn't it? They will know what kind of programs you have to write. So this is not my subject, so I won't be talking too much about this subject. But then, as I said, I definitely know what books you need to refer for this subject. So it becomes very important to have mentors for such kind of subjects, isn't it? Where the books, there are a lot of books available, and then you don't know what has to be prepared from which book. So it becomes very important if someone guides you with such kind of subjects. And for communication skills, there are books, many books available, but you go and buy that book which is referred by your college teachers, because many of these subjects, this communication skills or physics and chemistry, these subjects are mainly handled by the college teachers, isn't it? So it becomes very important to write your journals, write your assignments from the books which have been referred by your college teachers. So make sure that these books you buy only those books which have been recommended by your college teachers. So this is all about semester 2, people, all about semester 2 and semester 1 I have talked in this entire video. So watch this video very carefully. You will come to know a lot of things about first year, but still, as I said, the information might not be enough, isn't it? There might be some other questions that might pop up in your mind, and definitely it is going to happen. There might be some other question that I might not know to answer, because I do not know what is going in your mind. So make sure, if you have anything that has come to your mind which has not been covered into this video, you go and ask in the comment section, and I'll definitely make every effort to reply you back. So students, this is all about first year engineering. I wish you all the very best for your entire engineering life. You study well, you become a very good engineer, you become a very good human being. Students, thank you so much for watching this video. You all have a very great day ahead and an exciting life ahead. Thank you so much.